from KTLA, Southern California family files lawsuit after young father shot and killed by police. And I'm sure the cop just walked up to him and eliminated him for no apparent reason. And now the family wants money. And this has been going around, right? We've seen this for at least the last handful of years, arguably much longer. We've been under mob rule since, I don't know, Rodney King or whatever. But then we had a handful of BLM martyrs culminating in fentanyl Floyd, and then we had just a couple weeks ago the family out in Oakland who blamed the cops because some thugs stole some electronics from an old lady, and then they eliminated her former son-in-law who tried to get the electronics back. It was a complete mess, but it would have been better had the cops just done their job. There was another story only a couple weeks ago out of LA once again where a lady was just eliminated on the street corner, and the cops should have done more to stop this, even though we all know by now that you guys didn't want anything to do with the cops for, I don't know, the past 4 or so years. But my name's Eric. This channel is called Report and Opine. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm absolutely begging you.
I'm begging you, please. Come on, please.
It would help me a lot and cost you nothing. But if you want to help me even more and spend some money, you would buy my book, New York City 2020, Gotham Unglued, on Amazon.com. That link will be in the description.
Now at 5:30, the family of a man shot and killed by Hemet police want to know why officers had to use deadly force. Good evening. This is the KTLA 5 News at 5:30. I'm Cher Calvin.
And I'm Micah Ullman. Family members say while officers may have thought he was armed, they say that was not the case.
KTLA's Shelby Nelson is...
Officers thought he was armed, but that wasn't the case. But you're not, RIP, no disrespect, but you're not going to ask him why he was carrying something that looked like a firearm in the middle of the night outside of a bar.
Live in Hemet with the latest details. Shelby.
Sure, Micah. The family and their attorneys today announced a lawsuit.
And just for the record, when you have stories like this, right, they don't want cops to do anything. They shouldn't have done that. Oh, how dare they? But then you have the stories out of Oakland.
If police had responded right away to some of your first 911 calls,
Charles would be alive if the police had responded.
And the other story out of LA where the cops should have done more. So which is it? It's a catch-22. You can't win. The game is rigged.
Against Hemet PD, they say that 26-year-old Jimmy Lopez, a father of 2, should still be here today.
We want Hemet Police Department to hold themselves accountable for the choices that they made on the July 4th of this year.
Dozens of people, family, friends, supporters, and attorneys for the family calling for justice after...
Calling for justice. We hear that time and time again. We want justice. What does that actually mean? You want money. That's quite literally all it means. But you can't say that because, that wouldn't go over quite as well with the, I guess, brainwash moron sheep of LA. We want justice. No, you want money, right? You are ready, willing, and able to take a big fat check to make up for the loss of your son here.
26-year-old Jimmy Lopez was shot and killed by Hemet police officers on July 4th.
They could have stunned him. They could have did so many other things and he would be alive today.
Yeah, you guys are all experts, right? Oh, they could have stunned him. They could have shot him in the knee. There's a whole bunch of things they could have done to a man who was holding something that looked like a weapon outside of a bar in the middle of the night.
What those police officers did was murder a 26-year-old young man.
Police not speaking today, but after the original incident, they said they were called to a bar in the downtown Hemet area at around 1:40 a.m. after someone reported an intoxicated man with a gun in his pants. Video from the family's attorneys showed Jimmy sitting with his back to a wall with police on scene. He smokes what appears to be a vape pen. Seconds later, there's movement, although it's unclear what he's doing, and then shots.
First of all, he wasn't armed with the firearm. Second of all, the gun that may have been in question wasn't a real gun. Sure, the officers may not have known that, but at the same time, when there were reports of such, that should have been transmitted.
Attorneys admit that he...
Yeah, so you shouldn't have done anything, right? The only thing that you could have done in this situation is nothing. But in the other stories, you should have done more, right? It is a lose-lose, and that is on purpose.
He had an airsoft gun and claimed that officers shot towards him more than 100 times.
They never pulled it out.
Okay, that's a little strange. Now, I don't know if I can trust this media outlet, but 100 times at that kind of close range does seem a little excessive. But that doesn't change the fact that These people are saying the cops shouldn't do anything in this situation, but they should have done more in the other situation.
Yeah, it was never out.
Even though it's unclear what Jimmy does with his right hand in that video, Dennis Zine, who is now retired from LAPD, says responding officers have a goal to neutralize the situation.
If the individual reporting to the 911 that the individual has a weapon, whether it's loaded or unloaded or an airsoft or another weapon, they're saying man has a gun, and the officers go with the idea this individual's armed.
In video obtained by KTLA, a nearby business owner shared this video with us before the shooting. He walks by with a dark object in his hand. Moments later, he stumbles backwards into the bushes. We reached out to Hemet PD.
Wait, so a drunk dude in the middle of the night with an airsoft gun. Oh, well, the cops just should have known. They could have tased him. I'm an expert in this situation. Well, why don't you go become a cop then? But you don't want to because you guys hate cops.
But haven't received a response to what the family is alleging. The California Department of Justice, however, is conducting an independent review under Assembly Bill 1506, requiring the department to investigate officer-involved shootings resulting in the death of someone who is unarmed. When I spoke to Hemet PD earlier today, they say that in the coming days, they will be releasing a critical incident video. They also said today they would be releasing an updated press release with some details, also some pictures of the incident, but they have not yet done so. That's the very latest from Hemet. I'm Shelby Nelson, KTLA 5 News.
So they are trying really hard. They have this guy is like racially ambiguous or whatever, Latino or something. So they kind of want to foist that up as a weird race baiting riot thing. But I don't think it's going to stick. They have the lady out in Chicago, which for whatever reason, that's not really sticking. Maybe people are just sick of it, right? And there's the video floating around the internet of every election year since 2008 or 2012 or whatever, that there's been some sort of violent situation involving the cops.
Y'all see what I'm saying? 2012 was Trayvon Martin. 2016 was Alton Sterling. 2020 was George Floyd. And now 2024 is Sonya. Like, you see what I'm saying? It's a cycle. Like, they keep doing the same thing every time there's an election year.
And it's really quite strange, but I don't think they even know what they want people to do at this time. Maybe that's on purpose. Maybe it's because of incompetence. I'm not really sure. So on one hand, in Oakland, in LA, the cops should have done more to stop these tragedies. But then on the other hand, the cops should have done absolutely nothing to stop these tragedies. So at the end, you can't win.